Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Jerry Urquhart, and I'm here to talk to you today about the Exploring Wildlife Conservation in South Africa Study Abroad program offered by the Department of Fisheries and Wildlife and Lyman Briggs College. Just to give you some highlights of some of the cool things that we'll be doing, a large portion of the program will be focused on looking at different wildlife species that can be found in the savannas of South Africa. We also have an applied biology component of the program where we look at techniques for large game management. And one of the highlights of that is tranquilizing a rhinoceros and doing some research on a rhinoceros, and also on an elephant, and actually affixing a GPS collar, which you can see in the lower left corner, to that elephant for researchers to be able to study its movements throughout Kruger National Park. We have a lot of opportunities to observe other types of wildlife and also visit locations where people are curating and taking care of different types of wildlife, including reptiles and amphibians, vultures, and other species. So it's not just large mammals, but we'll see quite a few other things during our time in South Africa. One of the themes of the course is to talk about conservation techniques and how people are trying to protect species such as rhinoceros that are being threatened by poachers for their horns, and how they're trying to enable conservation practices that will protect these species. Some of the highlights of the program: we do a lot of wildlife monitoring. We'll talk about population dynamics, conservation practices, illegal harvesting, different protection efforts, the human-wildlife conflicts that exist, conservation biology, and then we'll contrast what's going on in South Africa with the North American model for wildlife conservation. That will give you a chance to learn the differences in approaches between the two locations. So where is South Africa? Obviously, it's in the southern part of Africa. It's highlighted here in this image. And we will be traveling to South Africa. Within that, we will be in KRUGER National Park, which is up in the upper eastern portion of the country. And within KRUGER National Park, we will start off and have our primary base be the South Africa Wildlife College within the park. And then from there, we'll visit other locations of KRUGER National Park. This aerial satellite image shows South African Wildlife College in among the savannas of the national park, and you can see the concentration of buildings with a wall around it. And this is going to be our base during the program, from which we'll go out and do lots of day activities and then a multi-day safari through the park. You can see more of the Wildlife College here. And so some of the activities that we do during the program are bird, mammal, reptile, and plant identification. We visit a wildlife rehabilitation center, a reptile center. We do bushwalks and night game drives to monitor different species that live in KRUGER National Park. And then we have a 3-night, 4-day wildlife viewing safari in KRUGER National Park, where during that time we'll camp at different rest camps throughout KRUGER National Park. We also will go to some private game reserves, and we have social activities with other students in the South African Wildlife College and their staff. We will go to places like the Kruger Canyons Biosphere, the Greater Limpopo Transfrontier Conservation Area. We observe some of the field ranger training, learn some of the protected area standard operating procedures, watch the dog unit that they're training for conservation purposes. We learn about a group of women called the Black Mamba Anti-Poaching Unit, the Rhino Ambassadors. We do some different ecotourism parts. And then really the two main highlights of the program are the rhino tagging and the elephant capture. At South Africa Wildlife College, you'll stay in small tents that are permanent tents. You can see up in the upper corner there, erected on a cement slab with beds inside, electricity. We eat in a common dining room area that's an open air dining room, and we have a lot of time where we're within the college, the majority of the program being there. But we also have days where we're out in the field, having safaris and bushwalks. And then we have days where we spend some time in the classroom learning from local experts. As I mentioned before, we have the 3-night, 4-day wildlife viewing throughout Kruger National Park, and we'll stay at a couple, 2 to 3 different locations in Kruger National Park at what are called rest camps. And then during the day, we'll drive between those looking for wildlife. This is the Satara Rest Camp, so you can get an idea of what it's like. It's a protected area within the within Kruger National Park that visitors can stay at during a longer safari. And as I mentioned before, the large animal research is really one of the big highlights of the program and one of the more exciting things. So I just want to take a brief moment to introduce myself as well so you can get to know who your instructors for the program are. Dr. Christensen will introduce herself in a second, but I'm a tropical wildlife ecologist, and my appointment at MSU is in the Department of Fisheries and Wildlife and in Lyman Briggs College. I teach introductory biology, I teach conservation biology. Over the years, I've led 15 study abroad programs, many of them to tropical countries. And I'm an avid naturalist. I love birds, mammals, insects, plants. Really, all of it is fascinating to me. And I look forward to sharing my knowledge of these things with you during the program. I think we'll have a great time exploring the different locations, and I can help you as you try to learn some of the natural history of the organisms we encounter.
Hello, my name is Dr. Sonia Christensen, and I am an assistant professor in the Department of Fisheries and Wildlife at Michigan State University. Some of you might know me as a professor in your recent FW 364 class. I also teach ISB 202, and I'm excited to be a co-instructor this year on Principles of Practice of Wildlife Conservation in South Africa. So I'm looking forward to meeting many of you and joining you on this journey to South Africa. I have been to the continent of Africa before, to Rwanda, and experienced some amazing wildlife there. I'm an avid traveler, and I'm really looking forward to this experience. Also, my professional experience in wildlife is really focused on large mammals and understanding aspects around population ecology, why animals are using certain spaces and not others, and understanding population parameters, and specifically I do a lot of work in disease ecology, so understanding impacts from diseases on populations, understanding why some diseases are in some places and not others, and generally trying to understand these systems for healthy populations of wildlife moving forward. So again, very much looking forward to sharing some of my skill sets and understanding of wildlife and our profession in South Africa with you, thinking about the context of South African wildlife, and again, experiencing a beautiful place and beautiful wildlife together.
So some details about the course. The things that you're responsible for as far as costs are your airfare to Johannesburg, South Africa, the program fee, which is around $4,100, and it will include all your lodging, most of the meals, except for a couple lunches, all your transportation, entry into parks, and all the other fees for the program and different activities. Then you have tuition for either 6 credits of FW 480, or if you're a Lyman Briggs student and want to take a senior seminar, you can do 6 credits of LB 492, and then 2 to 3 credits of FW 480. As I mentioned before, the 2 instructors are myself, Dr. Jerry Urquhart, and Dr. Sonia Christensen. And you can contact either of us if you have any questions about this. We'd be happy to help you as you try to find things to prepare for the program. And any questions you have, please feel free to ask. So we'll take, you can always email us questions that you have, and then I'm putting together a second video on frequently asked questions about the program, so you can look at that and see if that answers some of the questions that you have. Hope you enjoyed the presentation and hope you choose to join us on the program. We're very excited about it.